My name is Margaret, and I'm 68 years old. I've always lived a quiet, careful life. Some might even call it predictable. I lost my husband 7 years ago, and since then, I've kept myself busy with routines. Gardening in the morning, reading in the afternoon, cooking simple meals for one. It was a life of habit, not excitement. I told myself that was enough. But something changed last fall. It started with the smallest thing. My porch light broke. It flickered for weeks, and every night I told myself I'd fix it tomorrow. But I never did. One evening, while coming back from the grocery store, I nearly slipped in the dark. That scared me. So the next day, I decided to do something unusual for me. I called for help. A young man named David answered my request. He was polite, respectful, and arrived right on time. I expected him to just fix the light and leave, but instead he struck up a conversation as he worked. "It's a beautiful place you've got here," he said, glancing at the old ivy growing along the porch. I hadn't heard someone say that in a long time. We talked. Just 10 minutes, maybe 15. But something about it felt refreshing. After months of silence in this house, even the smallest chat felt like sunlight coming through a long-shut window. The next week, I called him again. This time it was for a loose kitchen cabinet. But truthfully, I just wanted to see someone again. When he arrived, I had already made 2 cups of tea. We sat for half an hour, talking about music, movies, and how fast time flies. I told him stories from my youth, things I hadn't spoken about in years. He listened without rushing, without checking his phone. For the first time in years, I felt visible. That night, I stared at the ceiling for hours. I wasn't in love with him. Don't misunderstand. I'm old enough to know the difference. What I felt was something deeper. The realization that I had stopped allowing myself to be part of the world. I had built a quiet prison with my own routines and called it peace. One morning, I looked in the mirror and asked myself, what would you do if age wasn't an excuse? So I made a change. I enrolled in a painting class. I went out to the farmer's market every Saturday, not just to buy vegetables, but to talk to people. I wore colors again, deep blues, warm reds. I even hosted a small dinner for 2 of my neighbors I barely knew. At first, it felt awkward. I was clumsy, out of sync with a world that had moved on while I stood still. But then, it felt natural. David still came by once or twice, just to check on things. We'd sit on the porch and talk about life. He never made me feel old or out of place, just present. Now, months later, I wake up feeling alive. Not every day is perfect. Some mornings, the loneliness creeps in like fog. But I don't let it settle. I light a candle. I water my plants. I put on lipstick even if I'm not going anywhere. Letting someone in, even briefly, showed me that it was never about someone else filling the silence. It was about me remembering I still had something to say. It only takes one moment to begin again. And if you're reading this, wondering if you're too old to start over, trust me, you're not.